I'm getting to the point where I'm asking those questions like, what is going on, right? So, but it does take a level of awareness to know that it's beyond what you see. And I have come to the conclusion that, yes, I do think it is a generational curse. I do think that it's being passed down. You know what I think is big in our community? Our finances, the way we handle money, and the way that we communicate with each other. I think that a lot of that comes from the generational transmissive deal. And I think that there's a lot of unlocking we need to do in those spaces. Understand. Like, it takes a level of understanding. A lot of us do not even understand how to progress a dollar once you make the dollar, let alone making a dollar on a consistent basis. So I think that one, it takes a whole lot of communication, it takes a whole lot of reading, it takes a whole lot of trusting, it takes a whole lot of de-trusting, you know, that, so it's like a whole lot that goes on to it, but we have to come together and be able to provide the information once we learn it, because that's literally one of the main things that divides us. That's one of the main things that could connect us if we really think about it. From my perspective, I think that we need to start normalizing how we communicate and being open to be honest and transparent. A lot of times we can see somebody doing something that we know they shouldn't be doing, or they should have been raised better than that, but we never speak up, but we're gonna talk about it back here. Finding a way to vocalize what you see that you may have learned that has been better in a way that's not gonna cause the next person to be defensive and take it as if you're making something to be wrong with them. It comes with nurturing our emotions within ourselves and being confident. And if we are equally like that, then we are better able to teach each other.
You want to be vocal. You want to be vocal about the growing of your journey.
There you go.
I think that is the fucking ish.
That's it.
It's the most motherfuckers.
As Oprah would say, that is the aha moment. The sprinkles, okay. That is a sprinkle. Fear is big. Fear is... I think it is something that runs in your bloodline that has to be cut out. But I think that's something that you have to be very meticulous about coming out of. But that's so true. When you look at movies, when you hear about other people's story in your life, it's not something that's far-fetched than what you've heard before somebody else has been doing. Everybody is going through something that's almost similar.
I think that's why this work is so important.
And that's the fear, though. That's the fear. Because why are we doing that? Why is it an outcast if somebody is raw and authentic? Like, why is that a thing that's frowned upon or looked up to like it's an excitement kind of thing, as if it's not normal to just be 100% honest about vocalizing your journey? One thing that I like to always say is the world needs you to be you. That's literally our purpose in life, is to realize the cards that we are dealt, whether we were born into it or you're living through it, and figuring out how to navigate your journey with these cards. And it's literally your responsibility to figure this out and to share it. This is literally the way that we advance the world. And if we're lazy with it, if that one person is lazy with it, imagine all the lives that you did not impact. Imagine the abundance we would live in if everybody operated in that kind of light. It would answer all the questions.
Exactly.
We make it hard. We make it so hard on ourselves.
How do you check your emotions?
Oh man, that's a very good question. I've practiced over and over and over again to be able to self-study. I've come to the point of being able to trust myself. And so I've learned what moments gives me the space to construct myself. I'm a big manifester. So essentially, yes, I am creating these moments for myself. But a lot of it is what life throws at you, right? So not all the time things are cotton candy. There are challenges that we deal with, But once you begin to understand the life cycles, once you become aware of the way you're thinking and you become conscious of what you're putting into yourself, you know when things are off. It's just like when you have a really good diet and you're eating right, and then you eat something that you're not supposed to eat, your body reacts. It reacts. So it's our job to cater to our body reacting in those ways. It takes honesty with yourself. You have to be, if no one else is going to be honest with you, be honest for yourself. Okay, if you could do that, then you could start finding your triggers and build boundaries around those things. Yeah, so it starts with being honest with yourself, and then that allows you to then hold yourself accountable, as you were saying. So how can you hold yourself accountable and be able to really press as to why you're having these certain emotions if you're first not honest with yourself? And then when you can start holding yourself accountable, at that place, that's when you can start building boundaries around yourself. So when you know that you're going to be angry if your mama talks to you a certain kind of way, but you know your mama going to talk to you that kind of way at some point in time. So it's not to just say, okay, I get mad at that, right? And just linger on and decide to have these negative emotions from it, but say, okay, I know she may yell at me, so what is a different way I can react to that? Yeah, I think it happens often, to be honest. I think it happens all the time when you're trying to figure out your life's journey, when you know your mind is just gone. But I think that the best way to handle that, the first thing is it takes a level of emotional intelligence to just have that awareness and be able to manage that feeling. And then two, I think it takes a level of curiosity. And wanting to learn through your experiences of not knowing, being open to the possibilities of a why, say that one time. Being open to the possibilities of a why.
Open to the possibilities of a why.
Yeah, and
that just so cool.
Yeah, you know. Sometimes you just gotta practice the art of allowing. You know, some things may not go your way. Some things may seem a little strange, confusing. It's the lessons in all of it, but a lot of times it's beyond our control. Anyhow, so it's just understanding that this just happened, and I'm gonna let that happen. Taking the issue from a personal standpoint and letting that be something that happened next to you, and it's not really filtering through you. So I think that's really how to handle that. Yeah. You know what that's called? That's called an emotional intelligence system. Your emotional intelligence system. Listen to it. You gotta listen to it, yeah. And it takes practice, you know, to be able to get to that mindset. You gotta give yourself grace just in the practice of doing it. But I can assure you that once you learn that system, things start to get fun. You know, things start to get, that's when you start building confidence. That's when you start to learn to trust yourself, because in every cycle, in every phase, you're going to have a challenge. And then if you're growing, you're going to hit a point where it's going to be an unknown, and that fear, which you might as well recall it excitement, is going to come over you. So you might as well just get with the program.
And that's creating new foundation.
Nobody else going to do it.
Everybody going to do that.
Yeah. You know, one thing that I started practicing, because you could hear these things all day long until it's time to actually start doing it. I created two notes, right? One of the notes, and it's in the notes in your phone, right?
Yeah.
Anytime I have an experience that made me feel good, like really just like exhilarated me, brought me joy, I write it down. I keep a track of those things. And then vice versa, the same thing when it comes to people. If I engage with somebody and they just made me laugh, I love to laugh, right? And they just made me laugh, or they made me feel whole, or they filled me up, I write those people down. And I'll even go as far as how did they do that? And when you could get in this flow, then you can start identifying. And then you can start identifying what you don't want, so you could disconnect that from yourself. It's a process. And people gotta give themselves that process, but that is a great exercise to do if you're trying to figure out what you like and don't like. And
branch out into the community, into the relationship, into culture.
It's beautiful.
My God.
Regulate, align.
Regulate it. Hello, somebody.
I allow myself to go through the motions. I allow myself to go through the emotions at this point in my life. So essentially, my practices I use is I read a lot. I do a lot of research and videos in regards to what I'm feeling. And then I go, my spot is my car. But I go into my car, which is a very quiet and sacred moment because it seems closed in. And that place for me allows me to talk out loud with no filter and express myself. A lot of people journal, a lot of people write music. I express myself verbally and I do it and I record myself. That way if I need to, I go back and listen. But like you said, it's going through the process of feeling it and allowing it to come out in some kind of way. Most times when you find that cycle, you already know when that creative spark has to come somewhere in that cycle because we're creative beings. So if we're growing, it's just going to be like that. So you have to allow yourself to go through the motion. So you can allow yourself to learn what it is you're trying to learn. What is it that the universe is trying to have you attack? And if you come from that frame of mind, you just also inherently know that something positive is going to happen from it. So you just get excited from it, right? So it's like turning these battles. It's like, okay, I was working, I loved my job, I got fired. God damn, right? So now I ain't got no money. Now I want to do this, I can't do that. But now I'm like in a moment where I'm trying to do this, but I don't want to go. So you just going through this whole thing, right? But at the end of the day, it's all going to just happen. It's all just going to happen. So you kind of have to allow yourself to go through the moment of, okay, I don't have any money. Like, I really don't know how I'm going to pay this bill. But I ain't going to be mad about it. I'm going to ponder on it. You know, accept what it is.
Yeah.
And that diffuses so much stress in your mind. It allows these creative waves to start to process itself. From a very early age, I always practice being real to myself. And even though I'm grateful to have that mentality at least, because that right there helps me align myself in the moments where no one understands me. But essentially, you know, even though my family didn't understand it, I respected their boundaries, right? Because they have boundaries. But I also laid my boundaries. And although it wasn't of acceptance at first, I never put myself in a position for me to be condemned because I accepted myself 100%.
You didn't need to prove anything.
I didn't have to prove
Put
anything.
yourself in a position to, yeah.
And it makes it so much easier because what can somebody possibly tell you that you don't know about yourself?
Because you spend time with yourself.
I feel, you know what I'm saying? If you can get yourself into a space where you literally, you could be curious of somebody else's notions, why, right? Maybe they come from something that made them feel phobia about something or don't like something. Just so you can have a different perspective. But you always have to be able to trust your own perspective. And trust your own foundation. This is your world. And if someone don't appreciate or value or want to be a part of it, that's completely okay. Yes, Lord.
Through those conversations, yes, Lord.
Yes.